Welcome back to Goodnight Lighthouse. I'm Miss Dorothy, and I'm here to read you another bedtime story. And I am so excited about tonight's book because it's about camping. Do you like to go camping? I love to go camping. And we're going to meet up tonight with somebody who really, really loves camping. And it's called A Camping Spree with Mr. Magee. A Camping Spree with Mr. Magee. This is Mr. Magee, and him and his little dog Dee go on a camping trip, but it doesn't turn out like they planned. We're going to have to get into this book and find out what goes wrong on this exciting camping trip. Are you ready to get inside this book with Miss Dorothy? Good. I need you to sit up and listen up, because here we go. A Camping Spree with Mr. Magee, written by Chris Van Dusen. Early one morning at 7:03, Mr. Magee and his little dog Dee packed up the camper and hitched up the load, hopped in the Rambler, and then hit the road. They drove to the mountains, far from the sea, for 2 nights of camping, or possibly 3. Look, that's Mr. Magee and his dog, and they're packing up the camper to go on a camping trip. "There's nothing like camping," said Mr. Magee. "I know you will love it. Just you wait and see. The views are fantastic. There's hardly a sound. Aside from the wildlife, there's no one around. And the air is so sweet, you'll sleep like a log," said Mr. Magee to his small spotted dog. Wow, they're going way up in the mountains. A few hours later, they took a sharp right and found a great spot to lay camp for the night. It was high on a hill with a beautiful view of Mount Adams, Mount Lincoln, and Jefferson too. But perhaps the most wonderful feature of all was the brook that ran over a steep waterfall. What a beautiful view. Dee gathered pine cones and branches and logs. Magee made a campfire and cooked some hot dogs. And as the sun set behind far distant knolls, they sat roasting marshmallows over the coals. I love roasting marshmallows when I go camping. As the embers went out, they felt tired and dozy, so they climbed in their bunk beds, all comfy and cozy. But while they were falling asleep without care, along came a stumbling, bumbling bear. A kindly old bear whose sight wasn't so clear. He couldn't see far and he couldn't see near. But he could smell marshmallows, sticky and sweet. This smell made him hungry. He wanted a treat. Oh no, there's a bear coming, and he's headed for those marshmallows. He sniffed out the place where the marshmallows lay, but the car and the camper were in the bear's way. Yet that didn't stop the sneaky old snitch. He simply tried squeezing right under the hitch. And as he was shimmying into the gap, he pushed up the hitch, which let go with a snap. Oh no, he pushed up the hitch. That's going to make the camper come away from the car. Now that the camper and the car were untied, they started to roll down the rocky hillside. The car bounced away on an old logging road, while the camper was headed to where the stream flowed. It flew down the hill in a wild, bumpy ride, with Dee and Magee sleeping soundly inside. Oh no, they're not waking up. They were snoring and snoozing, enjoying a dream, when splash went the camper right into the stream. The splash shook the camper. They bumped out of bed. "Now what in the world was that?" Magee said. And when he looked out and saw where they were, his hair stood on end, and so did Dee's fur. They were caught in the rapids, but that wasn't all. They were headed smack dab for the big waterfall. Dee and Magee both started to quiver as faster and faster they headed downriver. But just when they thought they'd fall over the edge, what happens? What happens? Their camper got stuck on a rock at the ledge. So there they were stranded, Magee and his pup, on top of the waterfall, 50 feet up. I'm glad that rock stopped them. Meanwhile, the nearsighted bear from before was searching for one little marshmallow more, when lo and behold, as if out of a dream, he spied something sweet floating over the stream. But what the bear thought was a marshmallow treat was really the hitch and not something to eat. Look, he's looking at the hitch of the camper and he thinks it's a giant marshmallow. The bear was determined to capture his prize, so he jumped in the water right up to his thighs. He splashed through the stream to the edge of the fall and snatched up the trailer hitch, camper and all. Dee felt a tug. Magee heard a knock as the bear pulled the camper right off of the rock. He dragged them both all the way back to the bank when he realized the hitch was not sweet, but quite rank. He spit out the hitch and left in dismay, while Magee and Dee's camper again rolled away. It flew down the path with a jolt and a jar and stopped in some bushes right next to the car. Dee popped her head out. Magee looked out too. Had they really stopped rolling? Could it be true? At last things were quiet and peaceful and still. They hooked up the hitch and drove down off the hill. And on the way home, Magee said to Dee, "That trip wasn't quite like I thought it would be." So when they got home, with the sky turning red, they decided to camp in the backyard instead. Wow! That was an exciting camping trip. It did not go as planned. Oh, it was beautiful. Mr. Magee and his dog, they were looking at all the scenery, the mountains. Everything was so great. But then when they went to sleep, the bear came along and knocked them into the water and then pulled them out of the water. And Mr. Magee and Dee ended up right in their backyard roasting marshmallows saying, "We'll just camp here." I think that was a wise choice after that big adventure. Camping is fun, and it can always be an adventure. I'm glad we went on this trip with Mr. Magee. I'm going to have to go see if there's any more books with Mr. Magee and his dog Dee, because they seem like a couple of fun people to hang out with. You'll have to come back and see if Miss Dorothy finds more books about Mr. Magee. I think I will. But for now, it's time for all my little pets to get into bed. I need you to get under your covers, get cuddled up, curled up, get ready for a really good night's sleep. And tomorrow, when you're out on your adventures, whatever you do, obey and obey right away. And then come back and see Miss Dorothy. I'm going to be sitting right here, ready to read another book to you. Bye! Thanks for reading with Miss Dorothy. I hope you enjoyed this book, and I hope you'll come back soon to read another. What's your favorite book? Drop Miss Dorothy a note and let me know. I'll go find it, and I'll read it to you. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share. I'll see you soon.